when you're ready.
60 minutes, and that's
And we'll
what
stand for the pledge.
We're ready.
Stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys another lesson. Under God, in the pledge, you know, it wasn't in there to start with. How to get there.
I don't know.
Eisenhower had to put in during the Cold War.
Really?
We want to make sure we were different than the communists.
Yeah, I read that.
So he had pushed it to be added.
So it wasn't until Eisenhower.
Uh,
Oh.
Just like the interstate highways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a big move today, and the interstate without them, where would we be?
You couldn't afford to build them now.
Nope.
Any public comment? Okay. Samantha, you have anything?
I don't. Do you have anything for me?
Taylor?
Yes, so we, what? We, since we did the 911 sign, charging for 911 signs, since you guys wanna you guys wanted me to make a policy for that. I've been researching like other counties' policies, and they all refer to the county board's 911 ordinance. And to my knowledge, we don't have a 911 ordinance in this county. So,
You're talking about the road marker signs?
no, for addressing and
Oh.
how we charge $40 or $42
You
now
mean for, at the individual house?
Yes,
house?
yeah.
Okay.
So, to put out a 911 sign ordinance, all of the ones I've read have referred to the county 911 addressing ordinance. Which just states like where the 911 sign should be and how many feet from the house, I mean, just,
Mhm.
so I didn't know if it was something that if we could come up with a 911 ordinance for the county, and then I can do the sign ordinance for it.
Have you got some sample
I
policies?
do, I got a few,
Okay.
there's a bunch there. I didn't know it was gonna slide all the way down.
Two different ones, three different
There's-
ones there.
Yeah, they're all they're all in like a packet.
So,
I mean, I printed most of them are Illinois, but there's one that's in a different state. But I just printed out a few different ones just to give you guys an idea of what they're.
I'm glad to see you doing
Probably
something.
have one that
Yeah.
looks a lot like the combination of these.
I try to do something.
yeah,
Which obviously we've only ran into one issue of me charging for a sign, but I have replaced signs prior to this guy wanting 3 different 911 signs. So,
right. Years ago, if we did pass something, I don't remember it, but I don't know where,
I'll look.
look and
I'll
see if
look
there
and see
is
if we've got
something.
something.
I don't specifically remember us doing something like that, but we might have, but I really don't know.
Okay.
So
I'll
look
look.
and see what, if
I'll
you
look
can
and let
find
you know.
okay.
something.
And then a lot of counties, they just have it on their website, and I just thought we could put it, whatever we make it, we could put mine on the 911 side of our website, and they can even request 911 signs through there and tell them how much the charge is gonna be, if Ross can figure that out.
All right, we'll take a look at this and see if we can come up with something, work with you guys.
So you charge $42 a sign?
Yeah.
Mine's in my garage. It has been ever since. Because mine's in my garage.
The initial,
Well, I didn't know where to put it out there. I was gonna put it on a telephone pole, but I didn't.
you didn't get a post?
Huh?
I mean, they're good in the garage.
Well,
You got a post?
huh?
Did you get a post?
I got a post too, but I didn't wanna have to weed. Put
We,
something out there for the kids to hit over.
we have to give the initial ones free, but when they want replacements, cause they got mowed down and stuff, $42.
Okay.
You know, some people put them on their mailbox, you know, on the post, you know, it just depends on what kind of post, you know, what you got. There's all kinds of different combinations that different people have used.
Okay.
Most people have them, for the most part, I think.
I do, it's on my post.
You do?
Yeah, so I moved in, I'm not gonna put it up,
Why not?
I wouldn't know how, that's what I got time for,
I do drive a pole in the ground, tie it to the pole.
that's physical labor, son.
Anything else, Samantha?
Taylor?
Or Taylor,
No.
Mr. State's Attorney, do you have anything today?
I do not.
Okay. Andy?
No, we're just working on getting heat back in the health department again. They,
They have more
got the
problems.
boiler all torn apart there. I'm gonna go stop and see what their deal is after this, but something got plugged up and it should have been, picked up on. There's some issues with that should have been recognized, and it probably shouldn't have boiler shouldn't have lit, but it did. Circulation problem. So anyway, they're getting it all fixed. Parts are supposed to be in today, so they tore it all apart, cleaned everything up Friday, and then supposed to be able to put it all, parts are here and put it back together today.
Sycamore?
Sycamore.
Yeah.
That's not that old a boiler. And Sycamore did put that in, by the way, Dan. Sycamore did put that boiler in down there.
What? Oh, I never.
At the health department,
Yeah,
it was Sycamore put
that's
it
what I thought.
in. Yeah.
I told you that. I remember a few
I didn't
things.
call you a liar, I just said I didn't think. I think it was.
Yeah. we
But
took
it
out
wasn't
there-
at the same time that, SmartWalk put all that stuff
Ah,
in.
right, same thing.
No, it wasn't the same time.
Well, no,
It was
before
a
that.
couple of years
Before that.
before,
Mhm.
because we finally found the paperwork on it, Janet did, so.
I remember had to break down a door to take the big one out.
Oh,
And
had to
then
bust
put
it up
out
with
about like
sledgehammers,
that.
it was,
Yeah.
it was a monster.
Oh, yeah, it was.
About half size this room,
Yeah.
the one that's in there is about half size that
Table,
table.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They seem like they understand what they're doing now.
They do now, and
Yeah.
I'm glad they got up to the point that they did, because otherwise you would have continually had issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't taken it all apart and cleaned it out. And it's a big job, but I feel better now.
Mm-hmm. I know we talked about that Thursday.
They had trouble with something out up in the attic, something was turned off, should have been turned on, they talk about that back in the back somewhere.
Yeah, they had a lot of issues with that old steam system, and they had air.
Mhm.
It actually had an air compressor, and that's what ran the valves.
Right.
Well, all that was
They didn't
it didn't
replace
work
either.
anymore. Well, they replaced it with, SmartWalk replaced quite a few
Okay,
with
okay.
an electronic system, so they
But back then,
they got better
was-
control now than they did.
Right.
But the thing is, they kinda hacked rooms and made rooms out of places where there weren't rooms before, so the heating was a little off with where the rooms are now.
Yeah.
But I think they'll get it.
Yeah.
This will be a lot better once they get this fixed.
Dan?
Linda talked to you about the issue last week with the dog fight.
No.
Had a missed call on them last Wednesday, and I called back, it was a shelter, and somebody was looking for Andrew. Guess it had a dog fight, but it was in somebody's house. So, the next day at coffee, Carl Phillips' granddaughter was the one that was involved, had 2 pit bulls in the house, and they got in a big fight. And one tore up the other one, so they called the police. The police showed up and they told them to take the pit bull to U of I, Champaign, to get it repaired or get fixed or whatever, so. But, it wasn't the animal shelter's fault, because it happened inside of the house, and
Mhm.
it was their pet dog, so really, we had no control over what happened.
So
Andrew's
somebody
out of
blamed the
town.
shelter?
Pardon?
Somebody blamed the shelter?
No, I'm just saying that if they did blame the shelter, it was not the shelter's fault. But Carl Phillips said, no, it was his granddaughter's dogs. And one that's visiting brought a pit bull in, and they got in a fight, and one tore the crap out of the other one. But they did call the police came down and looked at it, said, well, you better take that dog to U of I, and they did. So, I'm just saying, I don't want the shelter to be blamed for that, because it happened after ours. Andrew was out of town, so the police handled it, which is what they told them to do when they called, and, it's past the hours of the shelter, so.
So you're saying, because it was after hours, they couldn't get hold of us, they
Right.
took care of it
Right,
versus
and Andrew's out of
calling,
town anyway.
calling animal control and them come and deal with it.
Right,
Got
right,
it.
right,
Yeah.
so everything worked out, it's not want the shelter to be blamed for something that wasn't the
Mhm.
shelter's fault.
Yeah.
I went out Monday, or next day, Thursday morning, talked to Linda, and Linda came and filled me in a little bit, and then I went out on Friday, and they were sending Ron Humphrey out to that house, to kind of talk to the people, so. So, and Carl Phillips, it was his granddaughter, he didn't say anything bad about the shelter, so
Mhm.
I just be sure they didn't blame him on the shelter. It wasn't the shelter's fault, so. So I just thought I'd mention it, just in case somebody brings it up, but everything worked out, so it's all right, so.
You have anything else there? That letter?
That's about the dog.
Oh, okay.
I just wanna be sure I didn't leave anything out.
No,
I
oh,
haven't
maybe somebody sent
lost
you a
memory
letter.
at my age, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you have any questions about that?
No,
Okay.
sounded like it got handled.
Pardon?
Sounded like it got
They got
handled.
handled?
And they followed up on it,
Right, right.
so.
Cost about probably $3,000 or $4,000 to get that dog taken
I
care
was
of.
gonna say. you
We took a cat up there one time, cost us $2,000, get the cat worked on. But U of I, they really do a good job.
Well, fortunately, you got it.
Right, yes, do a great job.
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned, in case somebody brought it up, but it was taken care of.
Coach, you have anything?
No.
Okay.
Same old. I'm on his committee, he says it all before I get there.
We had a meeting last week with Core and all them, and they're slowly coming up with a solution, but they haven't got it finalized yet. The company that's gonna do the work, they're ready to do it, but they got a few little details they gotta work out, so now that it's warming up a little bit, maybe they'll
They may get started.
get started.
Who's
on
paying for the mistake? We don't have to do
the
it.
concrete company.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know, sir, up here by FS, they got some yellow pipes.
that is,
DT,
B&T Drainage is doing the sewer
pump
line
station.
from the city out here to the pump
Is
station.
that big around, is that,
Yeah, that's what Shaggy said, is only like 4 inches.
doesn't know
Didn't
what
think
that?
that was big enough, but
They're pretty good, so,
I guess you know what they're doing.
yeah.
B&T, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what was spec'd, so.
No, people don't go to the bathroom same time, be all right. Shouldn't say that.
Augie, do you have anything?
Well, no, but a question. So, because I've had people ask me about the concrete issue out there.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna replace all of that, or just the spots where they did the boring and found the problems?
With all the testing they've done, I think there was like 63 places, different places scattered out that there's defects.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go in and cut all that out and replace all that.
The defects, but they're not gonna just rip it all out and start over.
No.
Okay.
But Michael, our engineer, has been involved in it, and he's coming up with some kind of summary to basically line everything out to let them know what procedures they have to do, what are acceptable, and they're gonna have a testing company there to make sure everything's done, plus an engineer, make sure everything is done to make it correct the way it should have been done in the first place.
Right.
So,
Well, I figure if Michael was involved, he's gonna watch out for us.
right, well, yeah, that's his job.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they wanted to, he just is making sure that everything is done properly and not just halfway done and
Sure.
part of it done, part of it not. He's looking out for us, because that's what we told him. We want to make sure it's done correctly, that 10, 20, 30 years from now, we don't have issues. And that's why they're replacing a bunch of it. If there's any question, then it's getting replaced. Nothing.
Good.
And we said we wanna make sure that an engineer signs off on it.
Right.
You know, you don't just fix it and it's gotta be fixed to certain specs. And an engineer will sign off to the degree that an engineer will sign off on and say, yep, this is as good as it's satisfactory.
So everything should be fixed to how it should have been done originally, you know. But it's put us back several months, you know. I mean, we would have had the shell of it up and would have been all enclosed this winter, and they could have been working on it this winter if they'd done everything the right way to begin with. So, anybody else have anything?
Carl, I do have something. Last Tuesday, the hospital hosted, as part of our SAMHSA grant deliverable, the grant that I wrote for that we got from the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. It was called a Mental Health Resilience Training. It is a nationally recognized course through the National Association of EMTs. But it was open to all law enforcement in the county, all volunteer fire districts, all Harris Fire, EMS, dispatch. We had a total of 38 participants that went through the course. And it helps them recognize that some of the things that they see is that weighs on your mental health, leads to burnout, leads to, unhealthy coping mechanisms. But I think we got some really good feedback from the course. A lot of people, one of the comments on the thing said, not at all what I was expecting, but exactly what I needed. They had a therapy dog there with them. One of the comments was, I'm not always comfortable around dogs, but showing that the companionship may be something that I should consider. There was just really good comments written on the course evaluations at the end. But one of the things I think that's going to be positive that's going to come out of it is they had opted to start a first responder peer support group in the county. And so looking at getting that set up to meet monthly to start. And it will be just first responders, so law enforcement, fire, police, dispatch, etc. That kind of meets at an off-site location, a neutral location, and kind of talks about things that have bothered them throughout the month, the last month, etc. Just to kind of start to form some sort of peers supporting peers. So just wanted to report that one of those grant deliverables is complete.
Are you having some kind of training session next week?
Next week is the TEACS class, so the Texas A&M Engineering. They are the federal supplier of FEMA training. And they come on site free of charge through FEMA. It's called a Senior Officials Workshop for an All Hazards Approach to Your Community. And so that is what I set it out in here in October and November. I can't sign you up. You have to go on and sign yourself up. It takes about 2 seconds. You go to the teaks.org website, type in Paris, Illinois, and it'll tell you. We have that one in February. We have some cybersecurity training coming in April, and then we have a 3-day incident management course in June as well.
So what's your sign up at this point?
I think as of Friday, we have to have 35 for them to have the course, and on Friday we had 27.
So you'll hit it.
I think we'll hit it, yeah. Well, it'll get close, but we'll hit it. We did open it up to some people that I had Matt Smith, thank goodness for him. He had helped me remember like Hume's fire chief, Metcalf's fire chief, Kansas police chief, so he was kind of reaching out to them and asking them if they wanted to. I had sent to northern Edgar County, Chrisman, Fire, et cetera, but I had forgot about the other smaller communities having a chief, so.
I don't remember Matt saying last week that he was going to it.
Yeah. It's really geared towards, the your level, my level, like, if we get into a big situation, and more than likely, the scenario they're gonna run us through is weather. We have a really big weather event that comes through here, whether it's like a Derico or ice storm or whatever, and we lose power, the hospital's without power, your 911 center's without power, internet. What do we do, and how do we come together as a community to kind of start an incident command that puts the resources where the resources need to be to get us back up and going as quickly as possible without relying on state and federal funding for the first 4 days, so.
You try to go to some of those,
Yeah, I signed up for it.
good, that's good. Okay.
There's one in Springfield, that one, I
Mhm.
signed up for it, but that is my last meeting with Cindy, cause she's retiring at the end of this month.
Mm.
So now I'm trying to weigh out which one
Mhm.
is more beneficial, but
Yeah.
yeah, Cindy's gone at the end of this month.
How long has she been there? Good while?
2016, I think, is when they created her position.
That's it.
But she's great to just reach out to anytime.
Mhm.
Hopefully they get somebody that is as good as her.
Yeah,
But,
I know you talk about her a lot. but
Yeah.
That's good, that you have contact at that level.
I did also finally get approved for all the grant money, and it should be coming back.
Mhm.
And then I wrote for a new grant for this year to fix Bruce Harris's mistakes of the
Mhm.
doing it 2D instead of 3D for the indoor school mapping. When I let Cindy know, she said that they did not follow the recommendations and wanted to know if we paid them already. I said yes. And I haven't heard back from her, so I don't know where that's at.
Okay. Anyone else?
So that focuses, what'd you call that? The text
Senior officials workshop for the teams. Mhm.
focuses on the first few days
Yep.
of the issue?
Yep, first 96 hours.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's good, because with COVID, as a business owner, any government help took months.
Yes.
You thought, well, I'm out of business. You know, then they came up with, a lot of them did, especially in restaurants. They lost pretty close to half of the restaurants went out of business.
Well, if we lose power at grocery stores, restaurants, and we have food wastage, so, yeah, there's a couple from the health department signed up. There is, almost all of the hospital administrators will be there. So it'll be, I think, a good mix of people to brainstorm, how can we work together?
You know, during the derecho, gas was a big thing.
Yeah.
You had a generator, but you didn't have any gas because you
Couldn't get it out of the pumps.
couldn't get it out of the pumps.
Yep.
So people were driving to Marshall to
Yes.
get gas.
Yeah, we had to fill the ambulances in Marshall.
So
Yeah,
that's
there's
good
just all
thing.
kinds of, and Teeks does a really good job of researching our past events and what were our pain points. And so they'll work with us on coming up with some solutions to put into our plans should something like that happen again. I know a lot of us rely on internet phones, voice over IP. So when we lose phones, we lose a lot. Or if we lose internet, we lose a lot. We lose communications, we lose, and it's like fighting World War II to say, keep me my analog phone in the emergency department so that I can at least talk to dispatch, talk to another hospital or something like that. But even the Frontiers they're not servicing those analog lines. So if one of them gets cut, if one of them, it's just like a time bomb waiting to happen.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's February 4th is the date of that course. And let me double check.
Right.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday, February 4th.
What's the hours of it? Is it all day, half a day?
I think it's majority of the day.
Is it-
Yeah, I think it's like 9 to 3, something like that. So,
I assume Jill will be there.
you know, I haven't seen, Gabriel takes care of the registration list and
Okay.
talking with Teeks, I haven't seen all of it. I'm assuming yes, she's been on the invites.
I mean, she's aware
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Right. I'm sure she'll be there since it's what it's involved in.
So did your emails you sent out have sign-up directions on it?
It did, if it didn't, or you struggle with that, like I can't remember, cause I've sent it so many times for
Okay.
so many months. But if it didn't, just contact me, but it's really easy, teeks.org, TEEX.org, and then type in the search bar Paris, Illinois, and it'll come up all the classes for it, so it's pretty simple. It tells you that you have to do a pre-course before the test, or before the class, don't worry about that, it's not a big deal, it's just, I can't register you because you have your own official Teeks ID number, and I'm not supposed to know any of those. It goes in your FEMA file that you've had training, et cetera, like that, so. Okay.
Are we ready to adjourn? We're adjourned.
For Russ, I usually vote for that too.
Huh?
Russ usually votes for
Did you
that.
get my email?